there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I'm excited about this live topic today. I want to talk very simply to you and directly. You are not optional. You're not optional. Now, today on this live, I'm going to share, I think I have 8 reasons that you are not optional. And my only goal is to shake your shoulders, right? So that you show up 100% for yourself today. And as a result of that, the people that you're meant to impact with your gifts and your talents, they get to benefit from you showing up, standing tall, and owning what is great about you. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I got started in my company as a strategic advisor over 20 years ago. I made a decision in my life to change my life. I was a corporate trainer by trade, wanted to leverage my background as a trainer, build my own training, coaching, a consulting business, and I did exactly that from scratch. When I first got started in my business, the very first thing I had to do was decide I was not optional. And as a result, I built a very large coaching practice, coaching women around identity, showing them to stand tall, own their value and their worth, and to stop making excuses that make you high. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. As a result of running my company, I built models that allowed me to work from the comfort of my home for the last 20 years before the term work from anywhere was a term that people use. I, as a result of running this business, have been able to be signed to Emmy nominated and nationally syndicated television shows as an expert, as paid talent. And I say this because some of you right now, your ideas, your wisdom, your thought leadership, it belongs on a bigger platform. It belongs on television. And maybe you've been trying to figure out how do you get there. I understand that. I equally have done strategic corporate partnerships with large brands like Panera Bread and Great Harvest Bread Company or Corner Bakery Cafe, the Marriott Corporation, just to name a few. And I say that because if you've been wanting to understand, like, how do I take my brand, my leadership, and package it and go to market with a Fortune 100 and 500 companies, you can do this. All right. Or maybe you want to build your first coaching and consulting business from scratch and you're trying to understand how to get started doing that. I've done that. And I promise you, that's deciding that my voice, my thought leadership, my expertise was not optional for the world to see these things, to experience these things. That's what I'm going to talk about today. And I would say as a result of building this business in a way that I say is time rich, it's given me tremendous time freedom working from the comfort of my home. I could be the kind of mom I chose to be, which was I wanted to see everything that my kids did. And so from the time that they started school until now they're all, in college and beyond, the reality is I built a business that allowed me to show up. And it gave me more time. It didn't have a cap on my income. And if this is interest you at all, you're going to love what I'm going to share. I've got a couple of talking points here. Let me just make sure I can grab everything. And then I am going to share with you. You are not optional. And what I want you to do as a result of hearing this right now is share this with a friend that you know could benefit. Maybe they've been optional around using and leveraging their talents and their skills. And I'm going to take all the excuses away over the next couple of minutes. Now, you're not optional. It's not optional to, one, invest in your own growth. And you got to know this, that if you do not invest in growth opportunities, you do not grow. And so sometimes when we're thinking, particularly women, we're thinking of doing something for ourselves, we can think about every single person, what they need more than what we need. We think about our kids often. We think about our spouse. We think about our parents, right? We may even think about our community or our workplace, even more than our own personal growth. And while we'll sign up for any certification to make us better at work, right? Or whatever we need to do to support our children, right? Or be better moms, right? Or community members. We'll do all of the trainings, whatever that looks like. We'll go to the marriage, workshops or whatever it is to be better. But a lot of times what we forget, what falls on the ground is the care for ourselves, planting the seeds for ourselves. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys through this live because I want to see you this upcoming year show up for yourself. You are not optional. Women often try to wait their way into clarity, but clarity doesn't come from waiting. Clarity comes from making decisions, and those are often related to investments, not hesitation. And those of us who have changed our lives, and I would say definitely I've changed my life. I went from working in corporate to running my own company, helping thousands of women with my systems do the same in their own businesses, teaching them how to package their knowledge, their background, their gifts, their talents into high-level consulting and coaching. These all came because of personal growth investments. They didn't come because these women hesitated or decided to ignore their own personal growth. One of the things that helped me tremendously was understanding that my family, the people in my community, they are the benefactors of the investments I make in myself, the time, the money, the energy. And that can look like sometimes investment can look initially like, I don't have time, I don't have the resources. But when you really start to think about where you're putting your time and your resources, you're already making the investments. But a lot of times we aren't pointing them to ourselves. We don't feel that we deserve, okay, that we deserve to invest. If you want to change your life in this upcoming year, one of the things that's going to be really important for you to understand is that it's not optional to invest in your growth. It's imperative. And when you do, every single thing that you do grows from that. Everyone in your world benefits as a result of your development, of your growth. Look at the seeds that you've planted up until now. And if there was just more of you, right? Meaning you had more resources, more knowledge about what you wanted to do, you had more streamlined systems because of your investment. Imagine what you could accomplish and the impact that you could create. So I just want to break that down. Number two, what we're going to talking about is why you are not optional. Number two, it's not optional, in my opinion, to have real business structure. Now, I have coached thousands of women over the years, and of the hundreds of women I've had the opportunity to personally talk to, often women come to me with what I call a hobby model, and it can't produce abundance, right? So they're great at what they do, but they don't actually have a real structure on how to build a business, meaning they don't have a structure around their offer, around their pricing, around their positioning, around their sales process. And as a result of that, there are no predictable outcomes, meaning if you had structure, business structure around the things that matter most in your company, you could actually scale. There would be some predictability around how many customers you need, how many leads you need, what your marketing efforts need to be. If, in fact, you understood how to properly price and value what you do with a process that really explained to you why you shouldn't be charging by the hour, $200 an hour, but instead that you likely could be packaging what you're doing for $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 or more per client. Those are business structure. It's not optional to have a real business structure. And the difference is when people come to me in the beginning, often they don't have a solid business structure. They might have a rate, they may have a fee that they think is a business structure, but they don't understand how to package their knowledge for high ticket and how to structure it to fully deliver that transformation to the client. And because of that, the client is unclear of what you can truly do. A lot of the women that I work with, smart, sharp, fully capable, they don't even fully realize what they can provide the client because they have just been piecemealing and selling their time. And maybe that's you over the years and I'm stepping on your toes, but that's my goal, is to step all on your toes so that you understand you're not optional. And we want to do things differently in this upcoming year. Number three, the third thing, I want you to understand that it's not optional to value your time. It's important, okay? And undercharging and overgiving or overextending, that's the fastest way to lose your confidence. It's the thing I hear all the time with women who they are looking to be liked. And because they want to be liked, was this good? Do you think I'm a competent enough expert in my own business? They lower the price so that they believe this volume of individuals will come. And actually what comes to you are not people who are your ideal clients. When you understand how to properly value what you do and to stand in your value, which is what I teach my clients to do, then you stop selling hours and you really start to offer transformation to people who want the results that you can create. Now, the reality is, think of it like this. Like if you were to buy an expensive car, right? And that car was, let's call it, top of the line Mercedes or something like that. And that car was selling, it's brand new, 2025, top of the line car. And you saw it for $5,000 and it's fully loaded. It's got everything. You would look at that vehicle like, it's too good to be true. Something's got to be wrong with it. I mean, there's no way I'm going to get a fully loaded, brand new Mercedes, right? Top of the line for $5,000. And that's exactly how your ideal clients are looking at you. They're not choosing you because you aren't standing in your value. And because of that, okay, and you're selling time, you're attracting people who don't fully value your time. And I know that there's somebody who's going to listen to this and say, amen. So you realize that you are dealing with customers who might be the most difficult, the most demanding, who aren't really doing the things that you would like them to do in terms of whatever implementation needs to happen. You're working with people who don't really even understand the transformation and the level of experience that you bring. But your prices do tell the story as to who it is that you can work with. Number 4, we're talking today about you are not optional, okay? Your gift, your talents, you showing up for yourself 100%. 4, it's not optional to be seen. And this is so important for those of you who are launching in your business or you've been in business. A lot of times we hide because we don't feel ready, and understanding that visibility will cost you so much. It will cost you the people who are meant to see you, work with you, who would choose you. And so you can't choose you if you refuse to show up. Those clients who want to work with you, who never hear your voice, who never read your newsletter, who don't get to see you on your lives, who aren't reading your proposals, those individuals could never say, this is the person I can work with, because you haven't given them the choice to be able to do that. And I'm just calling you out 100%. If you're that person and you're not being seen in the true sense, you got to think about, why is that? I was talking to someone recently, a client, who I said to her, if we were talking about her contracts and things like that, if you were expecting that what you were doing was going to work, how would you show up, right? How would you show up? You'd show up. You'd already have your contracts done. You'd already have your welcome letters done, or whatever you'd have. If you were expecting to do business, you'd show up like someone with the expectation to transact. And yet what I see often when women come to me initially is that they've had no system set up in place. They had no intention or belief in themselves that what they were doing was going to work, because they don't have any ability to close a client. They don't have any of the back end set up in their business because they haven't been seen. And they're afraid, they're hiding. And we do it for a number of reasons. Sometimes professional women do it because in your profession, people love you, they respect you, you have a lot of accolades, a lot of tremendous success, and you're secure in this area. And when you decide to start a business, do this thing over here, you're now like, oh gosh, it's new, and you don't want, right, to damage, this is a lot of times what they're thinking, damage the perception or the reputation that you've built over the years. And it's just not going to happen. You still have to show up. And trust me, the same consistent person that's been amazing over here at work, and you're going to be equally as amazing on the other side in your own business. So you got to own the thing that you're really great at. You got to have agency around it. That's what people are going to be attracted to. Number 6 of you are not optional. It's not optional. Now, this is going to step on somebody's toes. It's not optional to make decisions quickly. All right, I'm going to just say it. Delaying decisions erodes your identity. So what do I mean by that? So the deal is, high performers typically move when they know that something is right for them, when they feel called. They don't wait for the perfect timing. They say yes and they figure it out. I say this all the time. And there is this behavior that people have who never ever launch or who launch slowly, most of the time it's because of fear, doubt, and insecurity. It's because they want a level of certainty before they move. And I promise you, if someone would have told me 20 years ago, Mia, if you start this business, you'd end up having thousands of people order your courses and curriculum. You'd be able to work personally with hundreds of women, not one to one, but in your group coaching programs, your private consulting, your VIP days. If someone would have told me that that was the reality, there were no promises, there were no guarantees, but I said yes. And the only way you're going to know is to launch, is to jump, is to decide that now is the time, not tomorrow. And we're talking about you are not optional. It's not optional to make a decision and say yes and do it. And a lot of you, maybe it's you, have decided that, you make a decision, you're like, let me think about it. And what you're really saying or sometimes feeling is that version of you that's afraid, that version of you that's insecure, the person that you're looking to leave, those characteristics you're looking to leave, sometimes you allow her voice to be bigger than the girl inside of you who is fully capable. There's every indication that if you launch, you're going to succeed. You've allowed the parts of you that are scared, that are fearful, to dominate the part of you that's the most talented. And what I'm telling you right now is one of the things you have to do in this upcoming year is own your decision making, but be a quick person, a person that can make a decision quick. You got to, if something's right for you or not. I know if something is right for me or not. And I don't need to take forever to say yes. And it's one of the things that I do when I'm qualifying someone. I am looking for a woman that can be sure. She's sure she has an ability to create results for others based on her talents and the skills. She might not know what the package should look like, what she should be charging. That's what I help her with. But she is certain in herself that she has an ability to create results. She is certain that there is a calling on her life and that she's meant for something more. And for those of you who have said, God's called me, because, I have a lot of my clients, all believers. I have a segment of my clients who are so faithful, full of faith, that they often use their religion as the reason they can't move forward. When God directs me, when I had to call, and it goes on forever, like 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 6 months, and they never ever launch because they're using anyone, they use anything, they use their faith as an excuse not to launch. I will tell you that it's very, very important to be able to say yes, to decide, and to jump in. And it's also important to be able to make a decision you cannot walk away from. You will show up so much better, okay? And you have that accountability to be called out. Number 7, it's not optional to get the right advisement. Now, this is so important, and I think it's something that people miss. And if you've missed my live about how to choose the right coach, mentor, or consultant, I just did that the other day. Make sure you watch it. It's quite good. It's not optional to get the right advisement. Smart women actually don't guess their way to get results. I certainly don't. If I want to run ads, I'm not going to try to figure it out myself. I'm going to hire someone that can teach me or even do for me the thing that I want in terms of the results. Most smart individuals, they lean into mentorship that has proven outcomes and proven systems. And, I would say it's easy to find the folks that you want to work with, because if they're great at what they do, they're going to have a track record of success. And and it's not going to be something that you can't see. The people who work with me, they, you want to see testimonies. We've got hundreds of them, of women going from 0 to 10K or 10K to, $100,000, or hitting $250,000, or hitting that first $500,000 in or more, from packaging their knowledge into high value products from scratch. Okay. Just getting started. Watching those women, many of them being able to do that within 4 weeks, within 6 weeks, within 6 months, 1 year. changing their life, changing the way they see themselves. So it's not optional to get the right advisement. You have to be discerning for yourself. You have to decide that you're your number one asset, you're your number one investment, and that as a result of that, you want people who will hold you accountable for the results that you desire. I only want to work with people who want to work with the best. You want to work with someone that's going to call you out, who's not going to allow you to allow that smaller voice inside of you be the dictator in your life. I mean, the reality is if you're looking to change what things look like 3 months from now, 6 months from now, it's going to be what you decide today that's going to change all of that. Are we clear? Number 8. Okay, you got to understand you are not optional, and that it's not optional to build a model that fits your life. It's something that I teach all of my clients. Look, a business that exhausts you is not a business that will grow you. And this is something that a lot of people do not understand. Think the busier I am, listen, you build the business to create a life. And I know that you have a lot of people talking about like work-life balance and how much work is work, and you're never going to be a success if you're not working. But there are ways to be able to build a business around your values. And I know this is very important for women because we tend to be a lot more family oriented. You build your business so you can have time to be with your kids, or time to be with your parents, or time to be with your spouse, right? Time to give in your community. Building a business in a way that I call time rich, it's really made all the difference in my life. And you deserve, in my opinion, a time rich model that supports your life instead of consuming it. All right. And if you don't know anything about it, if you're a coach and you just keep working with clients one-to-one and it's draining your time and your energy, it's capping your ability to earn income, to compound your income, it's time to learn a new way to do this. And I'd love to show you how. And to do that, you can simply just DM me, or you'll see somewhere here on this page where you have an opportunity to schedule a call so we can look at how can you package you, the whole package of you, and how can we build this business around your life, and how can you not be optional about the things that really will allow you to show up in tremendous and great ways in this upcoming year. I hope that there is something that I've shared with you that really supports you in understanding like you're not optional. And if you've been operating from this place of your success being optional, this live is absolutely for you. And I know that of all the things that I've shared, it's really support you. Let me just recap for you the things that you're not optional about, right? Not to be optional about. You're not optional to invest in your growth. That's really important. You're your number one investment. Okay. And I know that you've been making room for everybody else, but now it's time for you to make room for you and be unapologetic about it. Number 2, it's not optional to have real business structure. It's imperative. So this idea of knowing exactly how to package what you're doing, and how to price what you're doing, how to market and position yourself as the obvious choice, right? So that customers want to come to you, how to close and sell. These are systems, right? These are structures that when you find and create the ones for your business, it makes doing business a lot easier, a lot more predictable. Simple. Okay. 3, it's not optional to value your time. Time is an asset. And this idea of over giving and over delivering and being underpaid is misaligned. And it's time for you to divorce that structure. Number 4, it's not optional to be seen. So this idea of having a calling and not showing up for it, or hiding, or not taking the grand stages that you belong on, maybe television, maybe magazines, maybe going live, maybe pitching the largest corporations that in your mind you should be doing business with. It's time to stop hiding, to blow the dust off of the fears, the insecurities, and the doubts, and to show up. It's not optional to stand in your value. It's important. And, to understand that underpriced women, they stay overwhelmed. Why? Because they're working so hard and they're not being properly compensated for the value they bring. And it means that likely you are attracting in your world people, opportunities, right, that don't fully you can't even use fully what you bring to the table. It's the reason why I have a interview process where I want to make sure that the woman that I'm working with, that she gets her value. Very important. My goal is to extract that from her so that she can attract the right client, because doing business is easier. I want you to think about this for a minute. Imagine this for a minute. Imagine if you are charging by the hour, okay? And $300 an hour. I'm just keep it really easy for me. $300 an hour, and you are speaking to your clients each and every week individually. $300 an hour, so okay, $1,200 per client. If they talk to you each and every week. But imagine if you understood how to take that exact same client, and that client instead was working with you one to many, and that client was in something that was $12,000 or $15,000. And instead of you speaking that client one-to-one, you have an ability to support a group of people and help them hit a goal and help them have access to an incredible community. And you become the facilitator of some amazing change that way, by knowing how to change the models, and deliver incredible value to your audience. It's a game changer. Underpriced women stay overwhelmed. Okay. And women that understand how to stand in their value, they stay booked and they stay busy. Why? Because they're working with other people. They're always thinking about other ways to be able to add value to people in their world. Number 6, it's not optional to make decisions quickly. Listen, if you're that long decision maker, you got to hem, you got to haw, you got to think about it. It means you don't value time, you don't respect time, and you're going to attract people to do the same thing. You have to be a person that can say yes, and you're ready. And ready means that time, ready to get it done, ready to make the investments, ready to put the effort in. It takes time, money, and energy in order for us to change our lives. Simple as that. And if those words to you offend, I'm not for you. Because the fact of the matter is, that is what it takes to be a giant. And number 7, it's not optional to get the right advisement. And I actually think that is so important, particularly today, that there's so many shiny objects there. Anybody can have somebody design for them a beautiful graphic page, but it doesn't mean it's backed up with someone that can deliver the results for you. And when you're choosing your advisors and your mentors, I hope that they don't have to read from a teleprompter in order for them to communicate what they can do for you, right? I have notes, but I'm just talking to you based on my 20 plus years of experience, and I don't need to read what I need to say to you to help you get results. I've worked with hundreds of women, and thousands have used my programs. I'm just going to share that. And you need to work with people who are proven, and if they're proven, they're going to have results, and they're going to have a history of it, and they're going to be able to share that with you. And you deserve that. Have the esteem and the appetite to work with the right advisor, the right strategic advisor. And number 8, it's not optional to build a model that fits your life. It's imperative. And I know that we live in, sometimes a lot of the models that exist are so masculine oriented that it's like, ugh, it doesn't factor the things that matter to you the most. What matters is what matters. And let's build your business around your life, around your values. And so that 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, like in my case, you build a business that you get to come home to. The thing that I absolutely love is that I built this business 20 years ago so that I could see everything in the lives of my children. I've been able to do that every single day. And now that I'm a full nester, because I'm not an empty nester, I'm a full nester, and my days are my own, my nights are my own, and I have the freedom, the flexibility to do what I want, how I want to do it. I want to show more women how to own that part of themselves, because most often we've not been taught that. We've been taught hustle and grind, work twice as hard, you got to be twice as good, and quite frankly, your nervous system is tired of it. Okay, it doesn't work. And there's a better way to live. So, and I'd love to show you that. So that's the recap. If any of what I've shared with you today has supported you, feel free to DM me, or you can see a link somewhere on this page and you can book a session. If you're just joining this live, good to see you. It was an awesome one. We talked about why you're not optional. Okay, it's not optional anymore. And I wanted to shake your shoulders so that you could show up 100% for yourself. I love you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.